Hey up guys, time for a rapid game, and I've got my friendly neighbourhood fly around here as well. Okay, we are 1460, opponent is MS Xena 3 rated 1392. Let's see if they fancy a game. So I'm a bit high rated right now. Okay, I'm going to go for the Goering Gambit again. I'm enjoying it. Okay. So we've got ourselves a Philidor. So this is definitely a quiet, conservative, closed kind of position already. I mean, they've blocked in the dark squared bishop. That is the issue. The natural things here are to develop, push d3, go for a kind of symmetrical position. I've already committed my knight here, kind of anticipating this. So f4 break is not on the cards immediately. I don't see any reason not to play the bishop out. If they short castle, it means the bishop's going to be lined up with the king there. So let's play the bishop out. Oh, h6. This is, my opponent is acting in a very kind of quiet way. I mean, I'm thinking d3. d4 may be kind of aggressive way to contest the center. Knight takes. Queen out isn't an issue. You should be attacking this pawn, but that's fine. I can always just defend them. I mean, knight c3 is also an idea. I don't know. Maybe is this a move already? See, my opponent has been slow. So, made 3 pawn moves, no piece moves, made no attempt to control the centre so far with pieces. I mean, even this bishop, this is the only bishop that's really got any line of sight, and that isn't even hitting the centre. Okay, so what should I be doing? Maybe I should just castle and then go straight for the centre. Let's do that. Short castles, and with the idea of d4, and just try and bust stuff open. If my opponent is thinking that this is going to be a slow, positional, boring type game, then we want to take, in psychological terms, say to your opponent, no, this is not going to be like that. We're not going to play by your style. Okay, so if d4 and then d5, d4, d5, my bishop's on prise, I'll have to drop it back. It does kind of, a bit like in the Caro-Kann, very often you play c6, then c5. So again, it would be a loss of tempo. I don't see any issue with this. This pawn is very well defended. If he attacks my bishop, I have the option to take. What is going on here? Right, now, surely I have to just take in the middle, right? He's not castled. This is the material point. I'm finding some of the ways I'm thinking now are not very hunty type thoughts, but I'm liking it. Maybe I'm growing up, don't know. Okay, so knight c3, it's kind of a thought, but then the knight can't go there or there. So when you haven't got a good place to put a piece, well, don't put it. There's the option of fianchetto, which definitely puts pressure on this pawn. If b5, I drop the bishop back. So I'm attacking that once it is defended. b3, b5, he's not going to make another pawn move, surely. b3, if b5, back I come to e7. I'm just thinking this bishop has a very nice kind of natural looking line there, particularly seeing as this pawn is currently it's going to be defended only by the queen. The queen is a poor defender of pieces. She's a very expensive defender. Hey, go fly over there. There's some things you can play on. Okay, so he's defending the pawn. Now, obviously, because he's played this like Caro-like c6, he couldn't put his knight there, so he's put his knight here to extra defend this pawn. Alright, fair enough. If I do this, we could tradey. Again, very bad knight. Nah, don't like. So what is this knight's future? Knight c3 is not bad. This bishop now probably still should go there and still apply pressure there. That's how I'm feeling right now. Maybe knight bd2, maybe queen e2, playing this like a kind of Smith-Morra very much. With this bishop having come there, which it doesn't often do in the Morra, but don't know why it couldn't. Okay, this pawn is now undefended. This pawn is well defended though. It's attacked twice, defended twice. Can we add any more pressure to it? With a knight here or a knight here? Not really, not in a hurry. King takes, no sack there. So getting a knight to here is very slow. That's 4 moves. You have to remember. Knight is probably the way to go, actually. That's what I'm thinking. I've practically completed development. Yeah, my queen's not off the back rank, but now is the time to be... If there's no immediate chance to attack, and the thing is, my opponent's definitely been slow. See, after 8 moves, right? After 8 moves, we could all be fully developed, or at least completed development. I'm 2 moves off after 8 moves. He is 1, 2, 3 moves off. And what? Okay, well, since I moved my knight here, it's blocked one of the attackers off there. But if I just carry on with my plan, he's going to have to put his knight back there, right? Surely. And I think that's okay. So we can't... But he's now further away from development. Okay, apologies for the background noise. We have to do something about our flea issue in the house. It's that time of year. We've got a new dog in. So, bear with me. Hopefully it's... I'll try and put the noise reduction on the video. I should take some of it out. Okay, I'm thinking like centralizing rooks makes sense. We have an open d file. Question is what to do with my queen, and I'm still thinking like queen e2, proper Morra style. But let's just have a think about this pawn now. How can I attack that again? I mean, I've got knight here, which is then effectively 1, 2, 3, 4 knight moves, like we said. Now, if that is the case, what's he going to do? He can put his bishop here or here to add a 3rd defender. Or is my knight better here? I've got a feeling it's quite good here. So we could both end up with a double defensive knight structure. But my bishops are definitely kind of good. Don't see any point. That's just too slow. That's just dancing the knight around for no good reason. I mean, simply because my opponent can add another defender pretty easily. All right. So how comes his other knight again? So he's still 1, 2 moves off completing development after 11 moves. This is under attack, defended once. I'm thinking queen e2, and I'm thinking definitely one of the rooks to d1. 2 defenders, still 2 attackers. And if I was to put my queen on here, that would be 3 attackers, but again, he can do that. So I'm going to play this queen e2 move. Sometimes you have to accept that there is no plan, right? There's nothing obvious on the board. Now my opponent can castle, but he's taken a long time to do so, and in that time, I've been able to get good positions for my bishops. This is something I'm familiar with from playing the Danish and from playing the Goering Gambit, which is just like arguably an improved Danish. Okay, so here again, I'm just going to Improve my rook. Rooks like to be on open files. I've just turned that rook from a 3-point rook to a 5-point rook kind of thing. I'm not sure about this idea, but it does hit the knight. Opponent's also playing quite quickly. Aha. You want to trade off? I accept. I'm going to ask the question to the bishop. He goes here, I might just take him out. Okay, here he goes. Here he goes. I think we are safe to do that. The only piece that could attack the queen is knight there. He can't go there. Knight there. Alright. Now what? Remember, this pawn is actually pinned, right? So I'd love to attack this knight. It's also the only defender of the knight, which means it is not a defender of the knight, which means this knight is effectively capturable. What's stopping me from attacking that knight? I could do this. But then the knight just moves away. It can even move here. It's got an outpost there. What do I want to do with my... How do I attack that knight? I don't know. I can't find a way. Got queen here looking at that. That doesn't work. The pawn is not defending the knight. Is f4 playable? No, it's just attacked twice. And defended by queen and rook. That doesn't work. Okay, so he's defended that pawn. Now the queen is the only defender of that and the only defender of that. This, and he can just take it, can't he? How do I stop him doing that? Okay, I'm just going to try sticking my knight in there. I'm just having a fiddle around now. The queen's the only defender. Hello, right? Okay, now here, and we may, if he isn't on his toes, he needs to be aware that that knight technically hangs. All right, he's on his toes. He's just being a difficult customer, isn't he? That's what he's doing. Have I just hung that pawn? I have. That pawn was well defended here, and in my last two moves, I've just dangled it, haven't I? However, no. Okay, well, now it's defended. That's okay. Now the queen defends it. And maybe things are starting to open up. Okay, let's count again. One defender. So queen back here. And now I'm threatening this. Hitting the queen. What are you going to do? Bishop back here? Bishop back there. I could even sack the exchange. Maybe. I don't know. Things are changing. The opponent's just made a couple of quicker moves. Now I've still got 8 minutes. I need to remind myself that I don't have to panic yet. I'm not low on time. Okay. So he spun his knight around again. Again defending this pawn. Now, the king is now somewhat out in the open. It's defended only by the rook. I have a potential check on here. If the king, for example, was on a dark square, I could certainly think about sacking the exchange in order to get that. That would fork queen and king. Worth bearing in mind. Okay, so now again, he's come back once again. Do we want to bust through with pawns now? I feel like the F pawn break is the only one I've got. This is a cat and mouse game now. It's like my opponent's playing a bit like a tortoise, you know, he's saying you can't get through my stuff. And backwards and forwards again we go. Do I go here? Queen only defends. If I'd have gone here... These pawns are a real problem. It's definitely blocking off that bishop, but this bishop is kind of off target. Could I do this? This? Maybe. Okay. Right, I'm going to admit that this is not likely to move anytime soon. In the words of Blackadder, it's as likely to move as a Frenchman who lives next door to a brothel. With reference to the Western Front, of course, in Blackadder Goes Forth, as we all know. There, pawn takes, bishop takes, reinstates it. But then again, it's kind of, okay, queen defends. You are going to make a mistake. There will be a mistake. There. Pawn takes, bishop takes, knight is pinned. It's kind of... We also have a check. We have g6. I want to make my bishops good. This is the tricky one. I mean, this bishop now at least has got some range on its scope, but I don't know. He's playing a very kind of, you know, defensive system. Or just approach to the game. Okay, I still have a check here. g6 I feel like would be a weakness. So I'm going to try and prompt it. One attacker. If I do this, can he defend again? He can. Again, the knight's defending this. There we go. Right, I'm just going to drop back. He has no light squared bishop. I still have both bishops. What a cagey old game. Can my queen come round there? Not really. Can't go there either. Something like this, maybe f4, but I have to get my... Probably not a bad idea to maybe stick my king on h1. Just break, because this pawn is also technically pinned right now. King h1 is a reasonable move. That's still, I'm on 8 minutes 20. Yeah, I'm just going to do that quickly. I think I might put my bishop back on b2 now that the king has lined himself up again. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with moving your pieces backwards and forwards. Sometimes that is the sparring that goes on. Okay, and opponent flinches now. Okay, I'm going to put the rook on the open file, 100%. Now he's just thinking, he's getting frustrated and he wants to trade everything off. So I'm going to put my bishop back here. If he takes, I'll recapture with a bishop. I really want to now put pressure on this pawn. Okay. And with the opening up of the board, I would make the case that this favours me with my bishop pair over black and his bishop-knight combo, but the knight being very, very badly placed. Now, we still have an issue with our light squared bishop. So how about something like this? Regarding this square, something like c4, if bc, bishop takes, and suddenly our bishop has become magical. This, you see the influence, the massive influence that this closed file has in the game. Notice 6 of my 7 pawns are on light squares. which actually debilitates my own light squared bishop. My opponent does not have a light squared bishop. Okay, he's going for that. Why? What's your idea with that? I don't know. This takes. Bishop has to take. I take the check. Can't see a major issue. Now it does hang this piece, so maybe I have to play king g2. This to protect the f2 pawn. However, that is check, recaptures, check again. I then have time to play king g2. But not if he's done this, because then that attacks the queen. So for my queen here, my queen can come back and defend g2. Or can it? Oh no, she can't go there because there'd be no dark square bishop. Oh, what an arm wrestle! Okay, again he's is that forcing him to make a move he doesn't want to make? I don't know. Something like this now, probing here. I feel like I want to open stuff up. How about h4? Takes, he gets an isolated pawn. I'm on 8 minutes 34. My clock is not going down. His is going down slowly. Okay, do I want to take? His knight can't come forward. Well, I'm not sure of the purpose of that move. But just in general, I have 2 bishops. I want an open board. Here? Still got a problem with this bishop. Let's have a probe. I can't go here, here, or here. Could maybe go there, depending on where the bishop goes. Queen from here, but the king is guarding the corner quite well. Okay, he's got 2 attackers now on that. I could push f3, then we've got a potential bishop first checkmate pattern. It's not actually mate, but I've always got this as well. It's just defended twice now. Right, operation do something with the bloody light square bleeding bishop. Okay, now he's eyeing up a royal fork there, so I still need to defend the pawns. I'm going to put my king here. If he comes in, he's in no danger to that pawn. I just have to move my queen there. Okay. Well, tell me you don't want my light square bishop. Because if you do, you're doing me a huge favour, actually. Because I can't come up with a good use for it. Unless you want to take this pawn, in which case it's a wonderful bishop. Now you want to trade off more stuff. You want to get your queen in. I decline. This guy just likes to wrestle, doesn't he? Now my bishop's got even worse. Do I want to take out this knight? Pawn takes. He'll have some double pawns. His bishop has just become hampered by there. So is mine, arguably, to some extent as well. I could do this, but then he's just going to push a pawn up. Which pawn, though? Let's find out. This pawn and his bishop is suddenly running out of anywhere to go. Now his bishop cannot retreat. Can we take advantage of that? Also, his queen is no longer looking at this. That means that my queen is now freed up. But again, I can't go to any of these squares. Knight guards that, pawn guards that. So that file is out. Is it time to take out the knight? I don't know. He's now locked up all the dark squares. I'm going to do it. I'm going to take out the knight. I'm going to take out the knight. Something has to happen. queen anywhere. Where should it go? Just going to make my bishop into a kind of backwards pawn here. Probably king here. Okay, he wants to do this. I allow him to do that. Okay, this is looking drawish now. Can his queen come round? Maybe I need to put my king back there just to cover these, you know, entry points. I mean, it's not quick. I mean, there's no way through right now. If f3, then we've got logjam. Queen here is possible, but I'm thinking king g2 again. You want to move your bishop. Is attacking this, but the queen defends. Okay. This actually, I've just opened up his bishop by doing that as well, haven't I? Instead of just before his bishop couldn't retreat, now it can. But if I move my pawn, his bishop's effectively pinned. At least momentarily. Okay, now it's not. Right. Wow, tricky stuff. The queen can't go there. They're there from there. Thinking maybe I did. I don't know. No. That doesn't make sense. Still on 8 minutes. If he takes, I'll recapture the pawn. The queen guards. Come on. But my opponent's played this whole game in a very consistent style. Okay, I'm thinking if I get the opportunity to grab the open file, I really should. Because if my queen can get behind his lines, especially now he's got the double pawns as well, you never know. But then I need to be able to defend my own position as well. And I can do that with my queen on the A file. That seems like it makes sense. I think if he doesn't occupy the open file immediately, I may even play my bishop. There we go. Bishop back here. Yes. I might even do queen here. It's 5 pawns against 5 pawns. It's opposite coloured bishops. Technically, it should be a draw with accurate play. Okay, we are going for this. The difference is that my e-pawn theoretically can get past these pawns, but unless anything moves, my fear is we're looking at a draw. Which is almost like what he was playing for from the start. No, we're going to play it out, brother. So the question is, what can get through? Now, my king can't get through this gap. My king can't get through this gap. So what is there? Pawn breaks. Well, there ain't no pawn breaks. I'm going to have to do this. Now, my bishop is now constrained to these squares. His bishop, in theory, has more scope on the board. Okay, so the only thing that could actually change anything is his pawn moving forward, and he's just not going to do it. I know he's not going to do it because he's already revealed his style of play. And there's nothing I can force. This is all blocked. I think I have to agree. Okay, draw. Happens. And the engine says, totally a draw. Yeah, good sport. Interesting game. The question is, and I tried to take it to my opponent, and I failed, and I blundered, but look at this. An 85.7 against 85.3, that's tight as a mosquito's intimate area. And I made a blunder. And he could have grabbed the pawn and he failed to do it. That was the one blunder, yeah. Wow, wow, wow. Well, quite honestly, guys, look, there was nothing in this. I had maybe one glimmer here after this pawn went there. Could I have captured? So from here, queen to there with check. We noticed the check. And if g6 here, well, g6 would have hung the knight, so the king is forced back. Ah, dear oh dear. So that, I mean, that was literally, that was the only chink in his armor in that entire game. What an annoying player! What frustration! But also a good lesson. So, what was I thinking at this point in time? He pushed this. Counting attackers and defenders. One attacker, one defender. But hey, you know, fork. There we go. Might add that to one of my studies. But you know, sometimes that's the way it goes. I mean, this is the kind of guy that could do well at a tournament. You know, it's a very solid play. So yeah, one blunder from me, blunder from him. I didn't capitalise on it. Draw. Fair result. Okay, thanks for watching, everybody. See you later.